Rouge is one of those mythic corners. All the teams are lined up on that wall. Everybody's watching to see who's going to lift or who's going to carry the most speed through there. And for the drivers, you all know, you really judge each other because it's one of those measures of bravery. Long approach, you come out that hairpin, you make your gear changes, you get up to speed, you start hugging the pit wall, you try and get as much aerodynamic benefit from hiding behind the wall. But all you're doing the whole way down is measuring the car and getting yourself absolutely critically prepared for what's about to happen, because if you don't rock up to Eau Rouge with a very firm plan of what's going to happen, you land in trouble very quickly.
Welcome then to the first ever Formula X1 series for NORLA Motorsports here at the Bahrain International Circuit, under the lights for round number 1 of the Formula X1 series. Wise words right there that you just heard as we enter a new type of racing for NORLA Motorsports, the Formula X1 series. More strict rules and a whole different point system, different than we've ever used before. The rules, of course, being strict just for driver safety. These cars are the fastest we've ever used in the league, and quite excited to get the first ever FX1 series underway. So without further ado, let's get you down to the commands for the race.
Drivers, start your engines!
Now, of course, usually Formula 1 cars do a standing start, but having a bit of trouble trying to do that here, so we'll just do the normal thing that we always do. But still, the racing should be fantastic here at Bahrain. Who will be the first ever win in the Formula X series? That is what we are here to find out. And just can't express enough how excited I am for the first ever FX1 start. Nathan Orman, Joey Cristobal, Red Bull, Mercedes on the front row, and it's lights out for the Formula X1 series at Bahrain. Well, it's lights on, but whatever. But here we go, first corner. Very tricky corner to get into, believe it or not. A lot of drivers seem to get into 3 wide already. The McLaren's back here making some move, and Joey Cristobal for Red Bull is going to clear for the race lead. Nathan Orman second. Zane Davidson, I believe that is who is in 3rd place currently. Back here, Konstantinovic, Jason Clay, Haas and McLaren side by side. You also have the Alfa Romeos back there. And it is Red Bull leading over Mercedes and the Ferrari of Zayden Davidson. Kari for Racing Point trying to get by Fisher for Mercedes. A really bad corner right there for Mir Kari in the number 11. And up the hill they go. There's not really too many passing opportunities for these drivers at this track, so really want to make the most of every corner, and I can't wait to see. I believe it's about, I don't know, maybe 5 or so races in, we'll really start to see where these drivers and teams settle in as far as who's competitive, who's not. These guys are just absolutely ripping these corners side by side right here. Konstantinovic and the Haas still side by side. First lap. Oh, race leaders nearly getting into each other right there. Remember, the penalties for getting to another driver is quite heavy, especially on points right there. And we got a call, nearly getting turned. Levi Hatley and Brishasek making contact right there. And that right there is a penalty I'm talking about. We may get one first race in. So Joey Cristobal currently leads over Nathan Orman and the 5 of Zane Davidson. You also have Simon Oskin in Williams, 4th place on the grid. Remember, top 3 positions are podium positions. That's really what you're after. Then to get points, you want to finish in the top 10. Anyone you want the top 10, 11th to 20th on the grid will not.
27.6 in traffic into turn 4. Into turn 4. Turn 14. So turn 14.
drivers getting an update on where they're really good on the track so far. So most everyone has settled in line, with Joey Cristobal, the Red Bull, leading over Mercedes of Nathan Norman, and the corner coming around to complete the second lap of the race. Looking really quick that Red Bull is. And once again, the biggest passing zone perhaps on the track. Keep an eye on these drivers. Drivers seem to get into each other. Into the corners right there, as you can see. I believe that was an Alfa Romeo car getting into someone. Don't want to damage these cars at all. The speeds they're going could ruin your day. Just, you know, instantly. Just run on board here with the 33 of Burak Serikov for the other Red Bull driver, number 33. Teammates with Joey Cristobal, of course. Just inside the top 10. Team points, another thing. The Constructors' Championship is at hand, and you really want to get both your drivers finishing at a good deal by the end of these races. There's Zane Davison, the Ferrari, currently third on the racetrack. He just flew here from St. Petersburg, winning the opener out there for the IndyCar Series. So Zane Davison, no stranger to open wheel racing. He is an IndyCar champion, going for another championship. He's tied with the most wins over the IndyCar Series. Davison is. Now he's here trying his luck with the Formula X1 Series, the first ever race for the series. Top three kind of even with each other now. We'll see where the margin is this time across the line. Looks like Cristobal may be just a bit farther ahead though, really. Good corner from the front five. Oh, a bit of contact right there. Serikov in the Red Bull gets him too. I'm not sure who that wasn't. Nick Smith. I believe Smith is a bit further back in the field, but that may be another penalty at hand. Cannot make contact with the guys on the track, especially if it's avoidable. And with Chase Preston, the 31 for Renault. Currently held the final points paying position, that is 10th. You only get 1 point, but 1 point could be the difference between winning a championship and losing it. There's Fisher and the 44, teammates with Nathan Norman. They're obviously driving for Mercedes. There's a Renault just ahead of them. So another big passing opportunity, or really an opportunity to get more grounds on the driver in front of you, is when these drivers come in for their first ever pit stop. So we'll listen out for when these drivers have to box, and when they do, we'll definitely have to be paying attention to that. That's a pretty good corner to pass as well right there, but you'll have to really fast race car to pull that off. That's the final corner of the track. Joey Cristobal right now really out front, but right there, that corner is where he gets caught by the guys. We've got a Red Bull making a move on someone right there. That is, yeah, it is Nick Smith that was running in the top 10 then. So Smith and Serikov for position. The Red Bull gets it from the Haas, and that's a position for Serikov and more points for him. Smith will have to try and regroup to get that position back. You can tell that these cars have far more downforce than any car we've seen on track in the league. Top three drivers just about the same distance from each other. Don't count out Savinovsky and Williams. And before we even go further into the season, I just want to point out that it doesn't matter what team you're on, that ratings are not based off of the team. It is based off of the driver and their experience in the league as a whole. So you could be a Red Bull driver and still finish last almost every race. You know, it depends on your experience in the league, as I've mentioned. And then as the season progresses, ratings are subjected to change. Well, maybe every race. I'm not really quite sure I'm going to do it for the FX series, but after the first 5 races, that's really where we'll see where everyone will settle in. So wait for these first 5 races to go by, and then maybe you can see where as far as pace goes on. As man, I believe Nathan Norman may have nearly caught into the Red Bull right there, got into the rear. More drivers making contact. The McLarens, the Haas, and another the Red Bull right there. Barack Sirko getting into each other.
This guy is searching for Luton.
These guys all under a blanket. These 4 drivers: the Red Bull, the Haas, the McLaren, and the other Williams of Jack Gorkline. Beautiful night for racing here at the Bahrain International Circuit. All these fans. Oh, we got a car to pit road. That's AlphaTauri, I believe. Well, no, Alfa Romeo. Just in my words, but I believe that is Romeo. That's down on pit road. So I'm not sure if that was a scheduled stop. If these drivers do box this lap, then it was a scheduled stop. So maybe trying to pull the undercut here.
We need to box this lap in and box this lap. Other cars have pitted for drive.
So we'll see if these race leaders box this lap. Led by Joey Crystal. It's not going to be very, very critical. Don't want to make any mistakes on pit road. Unfortunately, they can't box as fast as they do in normal F1 or live F1. And here they come, so they are going to box this lap, and see if everyone can go. We actually have a car staying out. Borzalov Konstantinovic and the Haas F1 team is actually going to stay out and lead that lap too. So I don't think there's any points for laps led, although that could change. And it is the Red Bull of Joey Cristobal. He's out first, led by the or followed by Mercedes and the Ferrari of Zayden Davidson. So not much has changed as far as positioning on the track. Very clear or very clean pit stop, as we've actually got some guys still on pit road. Remember, guys got into each other, so they're fixing the wings, trying to replace the wings on the cars. Tough luck for all those drivers, but Joey Cristobal, he's even further out front now, so we just have to wait for Konstantinovic to make his scheduled stop, and coming to the line will be 2 laps to go. So we'll see if the Haas driver can really shock the field here and maybe pull this off. They're going to need one hell of a pit stop to pull this off, so we'll see what happens. Can Konstantinovic do it, get it done? To the final corner he goes. There's Joey Cristobal as he's going to pit down, or head down to pit road this time. So schedule boxing for the race leader of Konstantinovic. Now he's just going to have to make sure it is clean, and actually I don't even think he's going to make it. These guys are already out of that corner right there. Really familiar with the track, I apologize, but a little bit of racing right here. The McLaren versus the Red Bull. Second here he is. He's actually going to make a move to the inside for position. Not top 10 position, but still position. Looks like Serikov spent a bit of extra time on pit road servicing their car. And there's the F1 driver. Contact, heavy contact right there. Jonathan Lawson gets into the F1, or the Haas driver, the Haas F1 racing team. I don't know, I'm getting that confused, but we'll have to see if that's a penalty or not, if that could have been avoidable, but that contact was substantial, rather. I do want to apologize about butchering the commentating. Hopefully it gets better as the season goes on. But with 2 laps to go, coming to the white flag, pole sitter Joe Cristobal still ahead of Nathan Norman and Zayden Davidson. But actually, it's not even updated yet. I was looking at the standings on the top left corner right there, but that is subject to change as they cross the start and finish line. Right now, Joe Cristobal just has to run his race, trying to be the first ever winner here in Formula X1 Series as Ronald Williams of Sam Oskin, number 6 machine, working on Zane Davidson. The battle with him and Zane Davidson is for podium position. So, it being the first race on the podium is extremely important for the first race. But out of the final corner, the crowd is already going wild for Joey Cristobal and Red Bull. White flag is out one more time around Bahrain for Red Bull and their driver. The crowd is already on their feet. They could not wait to get this first race in, as it looks like Sam Oskin had a bit of run on Zane Davidson but couldn't complete the pass. He's going to have to try again. He has about a lap to do so. All drivers back there trying to make it move on each other, but up front it's Joey Cristobal leading in the Red Bull over second place Nathan Norman. And he just has to not make any mistakes, and the car just have to not, you know, have anything wrong go with it, and he'll be home free, as they would say. There's Lawson who made that contact with Konstantinovic, who was coming out of pit road at the time. Do you hear the energy of this crowd for Joey Cristobal in the Red Bull? Up the hill, that... Oh man, I thought he was going to get off the track right there, but up the hill, that left-hander right there. Just going through the field here, making sure no one is getting into each other. But what a brilliant drive so far for Joey Cristobal. Started on the pole, took the lead, never even looked back once. The team did an excellent job on pit road and did a more excellent job with the car. Joey Cristobal for Red Bull is going to be the first ever winner for the Formula X Series, as Joey Cristobal wins at Bahrain. First ever win for Cristobal in the league. Comes at a high level, probably the highest level of racing.
That's exactly how we should start a season. Come on! 1-2, baby! 1-2! Yeah!
I don't think he meant want to as in the finishing for the team, but rather a 1-2 step in dominating this race. Nathan Norman for Mercedes gets a second podium position, and the final podium position going to Zane Davidson. Job well done to Ferrari, Mercedes, and of course Red Bull being the winners of...
Hai lottato più di tutti, sei un campione, veramente. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Grazie Mattia. Ragazzi, grazie davvero. Siete dei grandi. Siete veramente dei grandi.
Being the winners of the race, but as we already mentioned, the top three, Samuel Oskin just misses out on the podium. Bortolov, Konstantinovic, Raymond Fisher, Jonathan Lawson, Amir Bakari, Chase Chris, and Jack Lockline running out your top 10. Lockline receiving the final points paying position. No one else will receive points. What brilliant driving by these drivers here today at Bahrain. Congratulations to Red Bull being the first team to win here in the FX1 Series. And of course, Joey Cristobal being the first driver to win in the Formula X1 Series. Next race, I do believe we head up to Canada for round number 2. I could be wrong. Now, I do believe it is the second race. Yeah, so Canada being the next race on the list, the schedule. And it should be a fun one out there. Congratulations to all the drivers who participated, and congratulations to the race winner. And as I've mentioned, it should take about 5 races to really see who will be top shot and who will not so much be on top of the leaderboards every week. But congratulations on Joey Cristobal on the win. Here's your standings after round number 1, and we'll see you out there at Canada. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye, everyone.